So get this. Did you know that scientific research suggests the best age to move your child to a toddler bed might actually be age 3? Yeah, 3. We are about to dive into exactly why waiting a little longer can mean so much more sleep for everyone.
Welcome to Sleepopedia. We are so glad you're here. In this explainer, we're going to dig into the science of that amazing developing toddler brain to help you turn what can be a really tricky transition into a positive and, yes, successful milestone. All right, let's jump right in. First, we'll tackle what I call the jack-in-the-box problem. Then, we're going to take a peek inside a toddler's brain to see what's really going on. After that, we'll look at why waiting is a secret superpower, and I'll give you a whole toolkit for setting boundaries. And finally, we'll talk about why the room itself is so important.
Okay, first up, the jack-in-the-box problem. You know the drill. You've done the bath, the stories, the cuddles. You close the door, you take that one deep breath of freedom, and then you hear it, the pitter-patter of tiny feet. It's a moment so many of us parents know all too well.
So, does this sound familiar? You tuck them in, kiss them goodnight, and before you've even made it down the hallway, there they are, with that little grin, peeking around the corner. It can feel like a test, a real battle of wills, but it's actually not what it seems.
See, this isn't your toddler being defiant. It's pure biology. They hear the dishwasher clinking, or you laughing at a show in the living room, and their little brain is hardwired with this ancient instinct to rejoin the tribe. They aren't trying to push your buttons, they're just drawn to the safety and connection of their pack, and that's you.
So to really get a handle on this, we need to look at the hardware they're working with. A little trip inside your toddler's developing brain shows us exactly why staying in one spot is such a monumental ask for them.
Let's talk about the prefrontal cortex. Just think of it as the CEO of the brain. It's in charge of logic, planning for the future, and, this is the big one, impulse control. Well, in a toddler, that whole area is basically one big construction site. The basic structure is there, sure, but the high-speed connections that let us say, I should probably stay here, just aren't finished yet. They literally lack the brain wiring to stop that impulse to get up. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. You are essentially asking a person with almost no impulse control to stay in an invisible box. I mean, think about it. Once the physical bars of the crib are gone, the boundary is imaginary. For a brain that's still being built, that's a huge, huge request.
Which brings us to a massive mythbuster. I think so many of us feel this pressure to switch them to a bed around age 2, but the science? It actually shows that patience is a parental superpower. The data shows that waiting just a little bit longer can save you an incredible amount of stress.
And here we are again, back at that magic number, 3. A huge study in the journal Sleep Medicine looked at thousands of kids, and what they found was pretty clear. Waiting until around age 3 to move out of the crib leads to much better sleep for everybody.
And the benefits they found were, well, kind of a dream come true. The kids who transitioned around 3, they actually went to bed earlier, they fell asleep faster, they woke up less during the night, and get this, they fought bedtime less. Seriously, if you could write a wish list for bedtime, this would be it. So the takeaway, if your kid is still safe and happy in their crib, there is absolutely no rush.
But what if you've already made the switch, or you have a little climber and you have to for safety? Don't worry. Now you understand the why behind their behavior, so let's build on that with the how. This is your toolkit for setting gentle, consistent, and brain-friendly boundaries.
The first tool is probably the most powerful, and it's called the silent return. The very first time they get out of bed, you calmly walk them back, say your one brief loving goodnight phrase, and leave. That's it. But for the second time and every single time after that, you become a gentle, boring robot. No words, no eye contact, no emotion. You just silently, calmly lead them back to bed. What this does is it removes the social reward, the attention that they're looking for. Consistency here is everything.
All right, our next tool is all about working with their brain, not against it. Toddlers live in a concrete world. The abstract idea of morning time or 7 a.m., it means nothing. But a visual cue, like a special nightlight that turns green when it's okay to get up, they totally get that. It makes an invisible rule visible and super clear for them. That's why those okay-to-wake clocks can be absolute game changers. Now, for a strategy that can totally sidestep those classic bedtime power struggles, the bedtime bin. The rule is simple, and it gives your toddler, who is desperate for a little control, a sense of autonomy. The message is, hey, you don't have to fall asleep this very second, but you do have to stay quietly in your bed.
So what's in this magic bin? Just a few quiet, low-stimulation activities. And I mean boring in the best way. Think soft-page books, a simple felt puzzle, maybe some lacing cards, or a few chunky plastic animals. The key is absolutely nothing with lights, sounds, or batteries. The goal isn't to entertain them all night. It's to give them a calm, independent way to wind down until their body's natural sleep drive takes over.
Finally, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because the success of this whole transition isn't just about the bed. The bedroom environment and the timing of the switch are just as critical.
When you ditch the crib, their entire bedroom becomes the new crib. It has to be a totally safe space. And that means anchoring all heavy furniture to the walls, covering every electrical outlet, and yeah, maybe even putting a safety gate on their bedroom door. This isn't just about preventing accidents. A contained space creates a powerful sense of psychological safety. It actually helps their little nervous system relax enough to drift off to sleep.
You know, timing is everything. If your toddler is right in the middle of a huge developmental leap, like their language is suddenly exploding, or they're going through a peak of separation anxiety, that's probably not the best time to throw another huge change at them. If you can, try to make the switch during a period of relative calm.
So if there is one thing you take away from all this, please let it be this. Those bedtime pop-ups are a sign of your toddler's incredible developing brain. It is not a behavioral problem that needs to be punished. When you can approach this milestone with empathy and a real understanding of what's going on inside their head, you set everybody up for success.